really, really angry. So I don't know if I'm going to publish this video. I don't know what this video is going to say. I know that I'm not going to say anything that's like out of line with what I think, you know, with what I think. How I say it, or exactly, it's sort of kind of, yeah, the phrasing that I use is I'm not sure about that, but I'm like so angry, I might be inarticulate, you know, which is not necessarily always a bad thing, considering the things that I say when I'm angry and articulate. You know, I mean, I feel like probably one of the book that I paraphrased this morning when I was writing about Maureen Dowd's article, which I couldn't even finish. I mean, like after the third time she called me a lesbian, I just couldn't even keep reading the article. I'm like, I got so angry, and then I just got angrier, and then I was like, all right, well, I need to stop reading this before I really say something that's not going to help, right? And then I just kind of couldn't read it after that. You know, I don't want to say she's jealous, because that's not really true. You know, if I hadn't been so degraded, if I had, I just saw this right now, you can see it. If I weren't so degraded and so bullied, and she were acting the way that she's acting, I might be able to say something like she's jealous. But the thing is, I'm so degraded and I'm so bullied that it's not just jealousy, it's actually really this very smug sense of superiority and nastiness and all of those things, because she and everybody else like her have just all decided together that I'm a bad person, they haven't done anything wrong, and there's nothing bad that's happening that I don't deserve, right? I mean, so, and that's not jealousy, right? And for me to say something just like "you're jealous" would be for me to set myself up for her to be like, you know, like laugh in my face and say, "Oh, I'm not jealous of you," right? I mean, that's how it would be. And then there's always this question of, am I gonna get videotaped the next place that I live? You know, I will tell you what. When I got evicted from my apartment in 2014, I had paid my rent in advance for like, you know, months and months. I left them with like hundreds of dollars. I was like, look, you know, whatever it is you might need to use this money for, that I paid to you in rent for in advance, that I was already starting to pay you in advance before you sent me an eviction notice, you can keep it, because I just don't ever want to hear from you again, right? So how did I get on the subject? Oh yeah, the question of like being videotaped where I live. You know, I mean, is that really going to happen to me next time? Really? You really think that that's an alright thing to do? No. Do you? Really? Why? Because you think I'm a lesbian? Alright, so I need to not get too upset about this. Something I started thinking about, you know, one thing that I could say, I suppose I could say it in a condescending way, but it's not meant to be condescending. It's just that I'm so frustrated dealing with this stuff day after day after day. I mean, really, a lot of Hollywood just has no idea what I'm talking about. They just don't get it, you know, and they are encouraged to stay uneducated their entire lives, right? And I think that one thing that was disturbing about the article that she wrote was there was such an emphasis on the idea of like women who want to behave as badly as men, and that's not really equality. You know, the idea of like let's get all these women to direct action films. I guess if you want to, you know, but how is that making anything any better? You know, if you have lots of people getting killed and beaten up and like, you know, racist sex scenes and all this other stuff, and it just happens to be directed by a woman, how is it any better than something that's directed by a man? You know, I mean, it's just like, yeah, sometimes movies can be kind of fun if there's a lot going on in them, you know, and it's not particularly deep, you know. It's like has no real intellectual value. But I mean, to say that getting women to do all the violent, stupid things that men do in movies, and somehow getting, you know, making sure that it's a woman who's doing it and that's going to mean equality, I think is kind of stupid. I really do, you know. And too bad, because there's men out there who would have been better actors if they had not felt like they were coerced into being those types of characters. You know, I mean, it's just I think it's just kind of too bad. It's not. You want to talk about three-dimensional? It's not three-dimensional, right? That's not three-dimensional film, you know, or characters or story, or any of that kind of thing. Yeah. So as far as like trying not to be condescending, I'm just so angry about this article with just you know, the way that it's all presented is still very nasty towards me, you know, and all of that stuff that just keeps happening over and over again. Presented as if You know, as if I haven't been talking about women's rights and equality and all of that all of this time. And it's like, oh yeah, it's very backhanded. It's very like, oh yeah, here's all these statistics that prove everything that you've been saying all this time. And yet at the same time, me writing this article, I'm gonna say, but it's okay that it happened to you. You know, it's just like, give me a break. I'm the one who's living through it every day, right? Do you think about it that way? So anyway, yeah. I mean, to say that I think many people in the entertainment industry are not going to recognize the book that I paraphrased when I said that Maureen Dowd is seeing, or asked the question, is that what you're saying, that some women are more equal than others? It's from a book called Animal Farm, and it's one of the most important quotes from that book, you know. And again, trying to say it in a non-condescending way. I'm trying to say it in a non-condescending way. I know you're not going to know, you know, because these people are telling you to be stupid, because that's what works for them. You know, the stupider you stay, the more ignorant you stay, the less concept you have of history and, you know, your place in it, you know, and what it means, you know, what different types of references mean, you know, what different types of symbolism mean, you know, and where you are, and the effect that you have on people. For you to be as ignorant of that as possible is exactly what people who are in charge are, you know, they're fine with that. They're fine with that, because then you're never, ever, you know, going to question what they tell you to do, you know, and you're gonna keep thinking that shooting a bunch of people with a machine gun while you're wearing a bikini is like, you know, equality, or has something to do with feminism, when it really doesn't.